Usually this is around the time where I eat, but no, we're recording. So, yesterday was a hectic day as far as basketball goes. For the playoffs, there's only 2 games. Thank God. Recuperating after 4 game days is tough. But there will be considerably less games going on in the future. The second round is actually the most fun time in basketball because there's multiple series going on, right? But there's good competition in these series, and 2, more importantly than there just being good competition in the series, if you're not having fun with one of the 4 series, there's 3 more of them. And 3 is the limit, because I'm not gonna lie. That gives you a good ratio of these 2 games today, these 2 games tomorrow, these 2 games today, these 2 games tomorrow. And I like that. That is enough basketball for me as a consumer. That being said, that means some people have been removed from the bracket, and your Los Angeles Lakers have gone home in the first round. How do you feel? How does it make you feel, Los Angeles Lakers Nation? Lakers Nation, sit down. You have been removed from the queue. So, that game happened last night. Obviously, the Timberwolves eliminated the Lakers. I was a big believer that the Lakers could win this series until they went down 3-1. I don't know if this is controversial opinion, but when they lost game 4, I was like, yeah, it's over. I didn't think they'd lose in LA. I thought they would lose in Minnesota again, but yeah, the Timberwolves were not only the better team, but they matched up incredibly well with LA. Much better than I thought. I'm gonna be honest. Here's your 3 playoff surprises for this Timberwolves series, because let's be honest, this is why the general public, even if they knew about like these teams and stuff, and even if they had a general good idea of these basketball teams, they had no idea that the Los Angeles Lakers could be upset like this. And it's because, going into the series, we were like, okay, Jaden McDaniels is not going to shoot well. That's who he is. He's not a shooter. And his defense is probably going to be not that impactful because we just saw him play Luka last year in the Western Conference Finals. Rudy Gobert is going to get on an island. He's going to get torched. And then if Luka's not having the world's greatest game, he can defer to a LeBron. He can defer to an Austin Reeves. And that did not happen. First of all, that did not happen. Luka and LeBron were taking turns, which I don't know if you know this. That doesn't work in the NBA. It doesn't. It's not. We don't live in that era where you can just take turns with, this guy's my primary ball handler, this guy's my secondary ball handler. You can take turns. The only teams that can really make that work are Darius Garland and Donovan Mitchell, is because they have the defense to make it work too. They have the bigs that make this possible. The bigs are not limited offensively, whereas this would work. Or out there in OKC, where it's, I think by committee, they have such good role players that have some offensive ability at the bare minimum, or 3-and-D guys, right, are surrounding these guys that fills in the roster. That's why these are 60-win teams, and that's why at Los Angeles is a 50-win team. A perfectly good team, all things considered, but they're sitting on the couch right now for a reason. Also, Rudy Gobert had a fucking Shaq game. Where did that come from? I have no idea why Rudy Gobert decided to have a 20-and-20 game out of nowhere. That wasn't on the scouting report. Everyone thought Rudy was going to get played off the floor in this series, and that happened at moments. Don't get it twisted. But not last night. That nigga had like 20, I think he had like 28 on 80% from the field shooting. And yes, these are all rebounds and dunks. But this is what niggas have been asking Rudy Gobert to do for the longest time. You are a big man. Play big. That's all we've been asking. Rudy Gobert finally putting together his offensive ability at the last moment to eliminate LeBron James is fucking hilarious. Because Ant didn't have a good game this game. And by the way, every time they got a game out of someone else, they're out this series. Game 1 was the entire team's game, let's be honest. But I attribute that to being the Julius Randle game, because Ant didn't have it going on that game. Game 2, which was the game they lost, nobody had it going for them. Everybody was shut down. And that gave me hope that the Lakers could do it. But they just kept, the bigs were in foul trouble the entire time. They don't have a good enough big to get a screen so Luka can get Jaden McDaniels off of him. And Jaden McDaniels is a great on-ball defender for Luka. It is a great matchup for them. If Luka's gonna have to shoot through this, he's gonna be tired as doing it. It's gonna be limited at a limited capacity with that guy doing that, right? He's gonna be a nuisance. The reason Rudy Gobert was getting torched last season, they had lob bigs, and he's playing drop. The drop doesn't work nearly as well with Luka because Luka can get Rudy Gobert in foul trouble. He can't even get Jaden McDaniels off of him to get Rudy on an island. He's not getting that switch. And Jaden McDaniels has bro. For as long as I saw him on the court, and I'm talking about the entire series, and I've watched all of the games in good depth, at least, in my opinion, they could not get him off of him. Now, thankfully, Luka did not get trapped at half court like he was doing almost all the time in the series. That's an adjustment they finally made. And I'm blaming that one on Luka and less on the coaching staff because I think JJ and the staff looked over and was like, dude, you can't get stuck there. And they were looking for harder screens from a Vanderbilt and stuff. That's why they need a real big man. Yeah, but I want to praise the Wolves because this is going to be a video primarily talking about the Wolves and why they eliminated them. Who else got eliminated last night? Did anyone else get eliminated last night? I don't. Oh no! Last night was the Warriors game as well. So yeah, it's gonna be really hard to explain why the Rockets trounced on the Warriors so hard. And it's not just because Steph didn't have it going. The reason why Steph didn't have it going is because Amon Thompson had him in a fucking straitjacket. Dude, Ausar and Amen, like, their defense is insane, and their offensive liability, and their offense, like, as poor as it is, oh my god. If they get, like, adequate spacing around both of these guys, not only will you be able to play them the entire game, basically, or, like, as much as you physically want to, right? But, like, they have your favorite guard in a fucking chokehold, and the second you think you're going to pass it to the big and finally get out of this guard's hand, here they are snatching that up. That's not going to happen. These two are a nightmare. They are a twin terror on either of these teams, bro. And that's why I feel like Detroit and Houston are in the same place, to be honest. The only difference between Houston and Detroit, in my opinion, is they don't have a Cade. You know, because Jalen Green, who is drafted in the same class as Cade, and I just want to see why these teams are on the same timeline, right? Who they drafted there is not as offensively consistent. If he was as consistent as Cade, or just half as consistent as Cade, like, we would be in trouble. It would be something, because Jalen Green can score. By the way, Jalen Green also had a good game last night, too. So let me pull up the numbers, too, just to be sure on how good of a game he had, because admittedly, yes, looking at the stats, not going to give you a good idea of what the game was. You got to look at shot selection, too. And unless you're looking at a shot chart, which you're probably not, and it's not going to show you a contest and stuff, you're not going to get a good idea. So you got to do both to have a good opinion on this. But let me pull up the numbers and stuff too, just to be sure, because I'm quite sure, at least in my opinion, that he had a good game last night. Probably didn't even have to play that many minutes, to be honest. By the way, the Warriors bench started to mount a comeback, and which led to Ime Udoka being like, okay, no, bring the starters back in and let's end this game. Which is smart, very smart in my opinion. That's May 1st game. I just want to go one day back into the past. I thought the Warriors season was the Rockets season was over. Gonna be over before the game started. I will be honest. Not how it played out at all, though. Dude. Here's one now. Look at the Rockets. Jalen Green had 11 points. He didn't play that much. 27 minutes is not a lot of time for him. And the 11 points isn't on terrible shooting, to be quite honest. So, there's that. He also rebounded pretty well. And his assists were whatever, I guess. Sengun had a decent game. Like, this was the Amen and Dylan Brooks game, and for a while we were like, when is Amen and Dylan Brooks gonna have a good offensive game, right? If they have a good offensive game, right, they can probably win the game, maybe win the series, right? Yeah, no, Tari Eason was good last night, and I know his plus minus is gonna tell you not that that's not true, but Tari Eason had a good game last night. Steven Adams had great screens. He's not gonna take a lot of shots, obviously. Fred VanVleet. By the way, if the Lakers had a screener like Adams, obviously Adams is not the lob threat that you probably want alongside a Luka. But if they had a screen setter that was in the same ballpark-ish of an Adam, they would be able to get those switches, and they really needed that. Dude, Min had a game last night. Now again, his deficiency as an offensive player in like recognizing stuff, shot creation, and recognizing those things is it's still there. But yeah, there's that. Let's talk about terrible Jimmy Butler and Steph Curry really were last night. So at one point, Steph Curry was 1 for 3, and this was like near halftime. He had taken 3 shots, and it's not like he was getting to the free throw line either. He was just like, that's one problem with Steph's game, to be quite honest. He finishes at the rim well, don't get it twisted, and his shooting opens up the floor for so many guys, but he does not draw free throws. Like, unless someone's gonna foul him on a 3-point shooting thing, which has got to be in the playbook of the scouting report of do not foul Steph Curry. He's going to make them at a very high clip. Yeah, he just does not draw enough free throws. That's a major issue with the team at large, to be quite honest. If Jimmy's not gonna have it going, and Jimmy got to the free throw line, fair enough. But like, it was too little, too late, to be quite honest. And 10 shots is way too little. And it, based on the minutes, you can clearly see that when Steve Kerr pulled them very early into the game, when they were getting blown out, because Ahmed Thompson was having an Ahmed Thompson game. By Ahmed Thompson game, I mean like clamps on Steph, and he was having a great offensive game. There's so little you can do about that combination if that's happening to you. I mean, I'm hungry. I gotta eat. I'm gonna fuck. What you think? Man. Okay. Buddy Hield's shooting was poor. 3-point shooting from this team needs to step up if they're gonna win the series. Luckily for them, on Friday, it'll be the only game, by the way, that'll be taking place at 9 p.m. for some god unknown reason. Luckily for them, at that point in time, they're gonna be in the Bay for Game 6. Now, if this series goes 7 games, all momentum will be in Houston's favor, and it will be in Houston. So yeah. But this will probably be another case of the lower seed knocking off the higher seed. And if Golden State does win this series, which I think they will be facing the Timberwolves, and the Timberwolves will eat them a fucking life. like. If the Rockets won this series, right, and the Lakers came out of the round, right, the Lakers could beat the Rockets. Maybe. Probably not, actually, now that I think about it. Because, like, I mean, even though Houston is very offensively limited, Ausar Thompson would be on Luka. And if you think Jaden McDaniels was an issue, yo, I got terrible news for you. Yeah, but Golden State. Oh, by the way, predictions for that matchup: Golden State is going to. They're going to be in hell. Like the perimeter defense is probably a little bit worse, but the perimeter offense of Minnesota is going to be crazy. And if you think that like Fred VanVleet was in the fix, and shoots like that from 3 too, but also puts pressure on the rim. And Draymond is not the matchup for that. And Jimmy is also not the matchup for that either. Although admittedly, Jimmy is probably your best matchup. You don't want him on him because he'll either be in foul trouble I'm gonna be exhausted guarding that nigga. That's gonna lead to defensive slip ups. I pray to God you can't hear me chewing on that. Hopefully you hear the fan over the chewing. Yeah, but that's gonna be a nightmare. Especially considering how well the Wolves score, and if Rudy Gobert plays even half as good as he did in the game, which is all anyone's ever asked for Rudy Gobert. I'm so serious. If Rudy averaged like 14 points on like 60% shooting, right? Because there's no real bigs in the NBA that can realistically guard Rudy if he plays even a similar amount with this amount of energy and passion that he played last night, right? Plays like that. It's over. I know this video has turned into a lot more speculation than it has been like a recap, but there was really little to talk about the Rocket series last night because, like, I mean, the game was over like in the first quarter, dog. It was really over at halftime, and Steve Kerr pulled his starters like early in the third quarter. I will say one thing though, when you lose in the playoffs and you lose in a fashion like that, the burden is on the team that won to replicate that, especially because they're down in the series still. They're the team that's going to have to figure out the adjustments that the Warriors are going to make on the fly. So yeah, I mean, I don't really know what to say about that. As far as the Timberwolves, I think I've done enough analysis I can out of the Timberwolves. I can pull up the stats up to really reflect that. And by the way, this is in a game where Ant missed all of his threes, mind you. And he took 11 of them. That's never going to happen again, by the way. Who would have thought Rudy Gobert would be making up for the offense? Who would have thought Rudy Gobert would be making up for the offense of a poor shooting night from Anthony Edwards? Mind you, Ant shoots better from three than Steph Curry, just like from a factual volume standpoint and in a percentage too. Insane. Might have to, like, if Ant is like on some, I'm a slam dunk champion if I ever get into the dunk contest. Or sorry, bro. Let me just. That's in-game dunker, and he shoots like Steph Curry. What is this generation? With decent enough footwork that makes you be like, MJ? Hey, I don't know. She's crazy. McDaniel wasn't in foul trouble. I think he even fouled out, to be quite honest. Guarding Luka, but like that's, hey bro, if he fouls out, he fouls out. That's his primary role is defense. Randall was playing amazing. Randall in an elimination game, mind you, he did not have a shot going from three either. He played amazing in my opinion, because the defense he was giving out was insane. I'm telling you, this team, it has enough to knock out the Warriors. If they can knock out the Lakers, they can knock out the Warriors. Trust me. And the shooting slump that you just saw from this series, that's probably not going to happen again. Like I was saying, this team is a poor shooting team, but like they've shown me enough throughout this series where I should like start believing into their shots as much as they are. They're well coached. They're well-rounded roster. Now, Mike Conley can never touch the floor in that series because Steph will eat him alive. But, yeah. Again, but here's another thing for me. Rob Dillingham, unless that brother is injured, bro, yo, play that nigga. Please give him minutes. Time to talk about what LeBron did in the elimination game. Because no one is qualified to talk about LeBron as I am. He looked like 09 LeBron out there. If you know, you know. That brother did not look good. Alright, yeah, like, it was awesome. Too little, too late. He had one really big three, and like the tail end of the game, it was not enough. Rui, y'all were giving Rui shit for like his last 2 games. Yeah, Rui showed up. Nigga, outside of Luki, Rui was their leading scorer, bro. So I don't know what I don't know what to tell niggas, bro. Luke, by the way, Luke got to the free throw line a lot. You expect that from Luka. 15 is insane though. I just want to point that out. Y'all be talking about like his drives to the rim are very effective, and you can see that in his free throw shit. Like he's still really good. So yeah, next year if they get like an actual like big, he doesn't even need to be a 3-and-D center. Really just needs to be defense and a lob threat. So, you know, pretty much what he had back in what's the name? If he had something, imagine. By the way, so I guess I should talk about eliminated teams now that we're 20 minutes into the video. I never told you about my thoughts on the potential of an Indiana Cleveland series and what I think about that. So you're getting that here too. Indiana versus Cleveland. That could be something. Offensively, both of these teams are really good. Defensively, though, Indiana does not have what it takes to defend a Cleveland at all. And I do believe that a key factor into why the Pacers were so good last round was how good Miles Turner's was. And I don't think he's going to have the same game against Allen. Allen can guard in the perimeter much better than Brook Lopez does. And don't even get me started on what Mobley will do. So, yeah. And by the way, Tyrese Halliburton is nice. Don't get it twisted, but he's not Donovan Mitchell. And by the way, him and the Darius Garland talk should be really close. So I don't know. People, man, Darius Garland not even it. Shut up. Darius might be a better passer than him, bro. Words to my mom. Might be a better passer than him. So. What are you talking about? Pacers New York play today, right? They're in Detroit. I think Detroit forces 7. It might take everything though. And if it winds up taking everything, yeah. I got bad news if it winds up taking 7. They might be out of gas and they might lose. And then after that today we have Denver and the Clippers. So Denver and the Clippers. So does Denver advance tonight and go on to face OKC? Will they steal another game from LA on the road? I don't know. Not really feeling it. Last game was the Russell explosion game and Jamal Murray hitting his stride. I'm predicting 22-ish from give me 22-ish from like Jamal, and give me 14 on just okay. Just okay from Russ. But then just have Aaron Gordon get in foul trouble and get completely worked by Zubac somehow. I don't know. I just feel it. Vibes. Purely off vibes. No basketball analysis, just vibes. Denver is such a vibe team, dog. They go as far as the vibes can take them. Good vibes won them the championship. Has nothing to do with seeding. Had nothing to do with seeding and the fact that they faced some 8th seed, 7 seeds, and another 8th seed. Nothing, bro. It had nothing to do with that at all. I think they just went off pure vibes, dog. Yeah, that's it. You're not getting any more analysis from me. It's 24 minutes. If you like the video, you like the video. If you don't like the video, dislike the video. But at this point, don't dislike the video. I'm a small creator. If you're disliking my videos, honestly, that's some real hater shit. If you stumble onto this, I don't know how to. And also, if you were entertained by this for 24 minutes, congratulations. You might have the intelligence of a goldfish. Goodbye.